Well, my name's Steve Dykstra, and this is my story. So, pretty much normal life. Raised in a good middle-class family, Catholic upbringing. Had a happy childhood. God was always a part of it. Played a lot of high school sports, and in high school is kind of where things started to change a little bit for me, and that's when I started to drink. I went out, and I thought it was the normal thing to do, and go to a party on a weekend and have some drinks with some friends, and that was the extent of it. But as I continued to grow, I came out to Western. The drinking continued, and it increased, to the point that it started to become a problem. And while I had always believed in God and had what I thought to be a relationship with God, I really started to doubt that relationship as my drinking continued to progress. I was unable to handle life on life's terms, if you will. And I was uncomfortable, and I turned to alcohol and drugs to relieve that uncomfortableness, as opposed to turning to my faith and turning to God. Life went on, pretty normal for the most part. Went to college, got a job, met my wife. We had children. They did have some medical issues when they were born, and once again, being a hard and uncomfortable time, I turned to alcohol once again. I held down a great job, was very successful in that, but it didn't matter. It always felt like something was missing. I wasn't comfortable with myself. I wasn't comfortable with me and my own skin. And I continued to drink to fill what I thought was missing. Looking back on it, I can say what I had was probably a God-sized hole that I was trying to fill with drugs and alcohol. It eventually came to a head to where I was reliant on drugs and alcohol 24/7. I would drink as soon as I got home from work, and would continue until I passed out. I would wake up every morning with the resolve that I wasn't going to drink anymore, and ultimately I would break that promise to myself early afternoon. And the thing is I really wasn't lying when I would say that I didn't want to anymore, and that I was done. I continued to have what I thought at the time was faith. It was more of foxhole prayers. Looking back at it, it was always a help me, get me out of this, get me out of that. I won't do this anymore. But eventually that even stopped. Then it became an anger. I was angry with God because my alcoholism and addiction continued to progress, and I was hopeless. I was absolutely hopeless. I had everything that most people could want: a great family, a great job, a great support system. I mean, you name it, 2 cars in the garage, yet I couldn't stop, and I became angry and resentful at God. Not that I necessarily stopped believing. I don't think that I ever stopped believing, but I hated him. How could my outlook was how could a loving God give me such an obstacle to overcome, or how could God give me alcoholism? What did I do to deserve this? And I stuck with that mentality for a long time, and I continued to progressively get worse in my addiction, to the point of if I didn't drink starting in the mornings, I would start to go through physical withdrawals. I was on the verge of losing everything, wife, family, kids, job, but no matter what, that wasn't enough. I continued to stay angry at God. And I continued to drink. The obsession was just too much. The obsession and the craving was too much. And it got to a point, eventually got to a point where family left. They said, we want you to get better. We love you, but we can't be around this. And when you get better, let us know. And I desperately wanted to get better, but I didn't know how. I was at more than just rock bottom. I was completely hopeless. There seemed no way out of this situation, with or with God's help. At that point, like I said, I didn't really particularly care for God, as I thought He put me in this position. And I thought the best way to resolve it would be to kill myself. I had a plan. I made sure that it would work. And I thought, okay, well, I'll have a couple of more drinks and then I'll take my life. And everybody will be better off because of that. But that's where my darkest hour turned into my best day, or the best gift. I ultimately, in true alcoholic fashion, drank until I passed out, and obviously did not kill myself, but I woke up in the morning and I had only what I can describe as divine intervention. God doing for me what I could not do for myself. I had a moment of clarity to where I knew something had to change. That I was willing to go to any lengths to get better, no matter what that meant. And I say that it was divine intervention because at that point in my addiction and at that level of progression, for a lack of a better word, I truly was insane and did not have the ability to put together a thought of seeking out treatment or seeking out a way to get sober. So I truly believe that was God giving me that brief moment where He allowed me to make the right decision. He presented me with the opportunity in that moment of clarity to turn right and to go down the right road. I checked myself into rehab and stayed in rehab, and ultimately, when I got out, I took advantage of everything available to me for my recovery, which there are a lot of options and a lot of things out there to help individuals that are suffering from addiction, and I took advantage of all of them. But the biggest one is God. He did for me, like I said, what I couldn't do for myself, and He took the obsession, the mental obsession, and the compulsion to drink away from me, root and branch. There is no better explanation for it than that. Now, with that being said, I don't just get to wash my hands of it and everything is always great. I owe my life to God and Jesus Christ. And in order to maintain my sobriety, I have to make a conscious effort every day to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand Him. Not just once in a while, not just with my problems. That's what I used to do. Here, God, take my problems, but not anything else. I can still handle my finances. I can still handle my relationships. I can still handle this and that, but take my problems. And that doesn't work for me today. For me to stay healthy, mind, body, and soul, I have to give up all aspects to God, not just a little bit. And it's something that I have to do daily. I still want to grab that wheel back, right, and take control or take back the illusion of control, because I've never been in control. It's always been God. And I found when I align my will and my life to His will, things go pretty good. Not that life is always easy. It's continually filled with its ups and downs. But having a close and personal relationship with God today allows me to overcome all of those. I wouldn't trade my absolute worst day being sober and having a loving and connected relationship with God to my best day when I was drinking. The thing that I hated God for and cursed him for turned out to be the biggest gift that he could have given me. Today, my alcoholism isn't the problem, it's the answer. It's the solution. And it's always been the solution because it led me to God. And I'm extremely thankful for that. I don't know that I would have the relationship, trust, faith, love with God today had I not been forced to absolutely relinquish all control. And that's what I had to do. I never thought I would be in that position, growing up. I never thought that I would be an alcoholic. No one really wants to grow up and being a card-carrying member of Alcoholics Anonymous. But I'm thankful for it today, and I don't have to ask why anymore. I don't need to know why. God's bigger than me. God has plans, and God will use these things in my life, and these challenges and these obstacles to hopefully better his kingdom. And that's the approach that I have today. I worry less about myself and more about aligning with his will. It's easy to have faith when things are going good. It's easy to say I have a relationship when there's money in the bank and I got shelter and I got food and I got a loving family. But when it all comes apart, that's really where the rubber meets the road in my faith. And I'm blessed that he gave me that opportunity to find him. And I just am extremely grateful and happy, and I look forward to continuing every day to try to align my will with his. And I look forward to hopefully sharing my story of how he's worked in my life with others, no matter what they're going through, to help them realize that through God anything is possible. Because I sure didn't believe sitting here today sharing my story about how I overcome it was possible. In those dark days, I thought that was it, and that I was destined to a life and death of alcoholism and addiction. And today I can say I'm not. I'm free today.